Well, this season of Smallville went all supernatural. No pun intended. Anyway, Smallville Season 4. So, Smallville Season 4 starts off kind of the same way that Season 3 started off as, when a show has like a couple of episodes where they kind of had something going, but then and then after a couple of episodes it gets really resolved and then we just get back to the normal stuff that has been going on. I really hate that in the show. I hate it so much. And it happens again in this season because in the very beginning of the show, Clark can fly. He is in space, he is flying, he is getting on Lex Luthor's plane to collect a stone and all such, and I'm thinking, all right, Superman is starting to fly. We're getting somewhere here. And then that gets resolved and he doesn't know how to fly anymore. And I guess we have to wait for him to fly sometime or wherever. I mean, it's 2005 or somewhere in the mid 2000s at this point. I understand that there is technology at that time that really didn't exist for the moment, but still, if you're going to introduce something, at least promise us that we're going to see it sometime soon. I mean, don't don't just show us something expecting us the best, but in the end just don't live up to its standards. I mean, it's the final season of the high school years, which I'm thinking, thank God. I mean, the high school drama has really gotten annoying in this show. I mean, the only reason I watched the first few seasons of Smallville is mostly because of the Lex and Lionel Luthor dilemma, and also the friendship between Clark Kent and Lex Luthor. As I say in every single review that I have done, that I absolutely enjoy their friendship, and it's just a ticking time bomb at this point because you can kind of tell that things are starting to break apart. But anyway, this season they introduce Lois Lane, played by Erica Durance. Erica Durance has got to be one of my favorite Lois Lanes of all time, next to the original, of course. There is a lot of characters in the show where I have to say they would be my favorite, but also I kind of have to say they're my second favorite to the original because the original, it's a classic for me. I mean, Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, all those characters they're just iconic. I mean, Michael Rosenbaum, Erica Durance, and Tom Welling, they do an absolute fantastic job in the show. And I'm not saying that they're like second best. They're more or less some of my favorites. But anyway, they introduced Lois Lane, and she is a whole lot of fun. I mean, she's snarky, she's getting under Clark's nerves, and she's just absolutely all over the place. It's the Lois Lane that I always wanted to see, and I get to see a whole lot of her in this season, which is a big thank you. And what I really like about this season is that the beginning of the relationship between Lois and Clark is not really a romantic relationship. I mean, in the very beginning, he can't stand her. They get in awkward situations. That shower scene was hilarious, by the way. I absolutely enjoyed that. But they had another plot line with her where apparently she had problems in college, so her father sends her back to high school, aka Smallville High, because why not? But then a couple of episodes later, she gets back into college and that plotline ends, of course, and we're not even halfway through this thing. But also in this season, Clark starts joining the football team, and I thought to myself, in the very beginning of the show, you tried that. It didn't really work out, but I guess you can try it again. And he does a really good job at it. And I'll admit that final football game, that final touchdown, that final moment where he saves Chloe's life, that was awesome. I'll enjoy that episode forever. That was a really cool moment. But then he gets to college and then shenanigans ensue, so he quits football. I mean, pick a storyline show. It's one season. Will you pick something and stick with it? This is really getting annoying. Ugh. Anyway, but also in the episode where Lois Lane leaves high school for good, it was the most awkward episode of the entire season, if not the entire show, and it was the episode that was dedicated to Christopher Reeve because that was when they told everyone that Christopher Reeve has passed away. I mean, if you're going to dedicate an episode to an absolute icon, why did you have to make it the most awkward episode in the entire show? I mean, in this episode, you have cheerleaders that are drugging the football team into doing their bidding because their drinks are covered in kryptonite rocks and all such, and they make the men do their bidding and all such. It was an absolute mess of an episode, and they dedicated it to the original Superman. I mean, Talk about disrespect right there. But also in this season, Lana Lang is now possessed by a witch. I don't know. It just happened out of nowhere. But anyway, this witch was burnt like 600 years ago or whatever, along with her two sisters, and those two sisters possess Chloe and Lois, and they do a lot of supernatural stuff around the place. And that barn scene was insanely awkward. But anyway, they're after these stones, and also Lex Luthor are after these stones, and Clark Kent is after these stones because his biological father wants him to get them because they hold some incredible power to them. What is this power? I don't know. Why do the witches want them? I don't know. Why does Lex Luthor want them? I don't know. I mean, they're all around the world, so you'd think that this would be a better adventure story more than just a high school drama bullcrap than what we are getting. In the end, they kind of drew a straw and they decided, we're just going to stick with the high school stuff because people are certainly enjoying that. Not people saying, oh gosh, I really hope season 5 happens soon because I cannot stand the high school stuff anymore. But anyway, there's also another character involved with this. He is the assistant coach played by Jensen Ackles, and when I say supernatural happens in the show, I mean supernatural happens in this season. Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean Winchester from Supernatural, is in this season, and not only is he the assistant head coach, but he's also dating Lana Lang because Lana Lang has terrible relationship skills, I guess. But also, you gotta have Lana Lang doing something other than being possessed by a witch this season. Otherwise, her character is just gonna start getting annoying. If not, just gonna get a little bit more annoying down the road. I mean, you're introducing Lois Lane this season. I always knew that the relationship between Clark and Lana was never going to last. Can you just at least have them in a relationship for like a couple of seasons so that the fans can say, okay, this is getting old, we kind of want to move away from this, so that they finally do break up for many, many reasons. I mean, they break up several times in the show, but this would be the final one where we could say, okay, now we can finally move over to the Lois and Clark dilemma because this is actually the most enjoyable part in this entire season. So like I say, this season of Smallville was a mess. I mean, it's like they wanted to do the high school drama for the final season of Smallville, and then you have one of the writers who is a huge fan of Supernatural wanted to bring that stuff into the show because Jensen Ackles is in it, and you can't have Jensen Ackles in a show without him trying to take down a witch or a ghost or being chased by the cops or somebody trying to kill him. Yeah, that all happens in this show as well, in this season as well. I mean, it's like they had no idea what to do for the final season of the high school years of Smallville. And it definitely does show. So I gotta say, season 4, not one of my favorites, and I don't think anyone's gonna hate you if you skip it. So guys, season 4 of Smallville. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Yeah, not all opinions are gonna be the same, and a lot of people are gonna watch it, of course, because Jensen Ackles is in it, and I know a lot of people who are big fans of Supernatural, so I get that. But anyway, what did you think of this season? Whatever you thought, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.